Hello and welcome to this edition of the Ferrell Phelps Show. I'm so glad you guys joined me here today. I have a wonderful guest, Ilissa Monet Collins. Welcome to the show. Just to let you guys know and catch you up to speed on who Ilissa is the current Miss Spring, Texas. I just want to ask you, what does that feel like to have that title right now?
And I want to thank you for allowing me to be on your show, Ferrell. And it's a blessing because I was so shy before, and it really opened me up to interact with a lot of people and show me how to improve my interview skills and my speaking skills. So it's just a blessing.
Yeah. Now, I know that one of the things that you're doing is your platform, because a lot of times when girls are in pageants, they have a platform that they speak about or that they stand for or represent. Now, for you, is it diabetes?
Yes, pre-diabetes.
Pre-diabetes. Tell me a little bit about that.
When I was born, I had this mark on my neck, and so for years they told me it was just a birthmark. It was nothing to be worried about. Until one day when my regular physician wasn't there, we had to go to an on-staff physician, and she looked at the mark on my neck and she asked me if I had a family history of diabetes and if I had been tested, and I informed her that I had a family history of diabetes, yet I have not been tested.
Okay.
And so with this, she said, well, I think we should get you tested to see if you have diabetes. And we got tested, and it turned out that positive that I do in fact have pre-diabetes.
Okay. Now explain to me exactly what pre-diabetes is.
Pre-diabetes is a stage before you get to diabetes. You don't have to take the insulin shots yet, but you still do have to watch out for your sugars and your carbohydrates because it can lead into juvenile diabetes.
Okay. So that got you started on a particular diet or regimen with your eating?
And because, of course, it was hard, because, I mean, imagine being 10 or 11 and going to a birthday party, you can't have any cake, you can't have any ice cream, any cookies. So I was just like, man, this is tough. But I was so fortunate enough for my mom to meet this wonderful woman named Miss Carol, and she was so wonderful to show me how to eat healthy and how to take care of my body.
Yeah.
To where, at first when I thought it was a burden, it turned out not to be a burden, because, you know what? I feel like I don't need all that sugar and everything. I'm healthier, and I can live a lot longer with my body being this way and me eating this way anyways.
Yeah. And you know what? That's a good, healthy attitude to have. And not only that, but it also speaks to the discipline that one has. And for you to be at that age as disciplined as you were to eat particular things that you knew were good for you, that says a lot about you as a young lady, period. You know, and that same type of discipline just spills over into your regular life. And if you didn't have the discipline, you probably wouldn't be the current and reigning Miss Spring, Texas.
Definitely not. Because it takes a lot of discipline, a lot of hard work, a lot of sweat and blood and tears, but I know in the end it will just be amazing.
Yeah. You know, I wanted to ask you too, what was your motivation for becoming a pageant contestant, first of all?
I've seen or met with a couple different pageant past winners, and I've seen how polished they were and how eloquently they speak. And at first, you know, when you look at pageants, you're like, oh, they're just looking at someone's beauty. She's pretty. Yeah, she probably won because, you know. But when you look at the pageant in the inside in detail, you see that no, she's well polished and she's well put together. And after seeing all the other past winners, I'm like, I want to be that polished and put together just like they were.
Yeah.
And what better to learn, or what better to be that way and practice that way than being in a pageant?
Right. I think that's an excellent answer. And you know, it's always good that we have someone that we can emulate. You know, when we see someone that's done it before, then it lets us know that we too can do this type of thing, and we can become inspired and motivated by it. And just like your position now as Miss Spring, I'm sure you're inspiring some young ladies out there who's looking at you and saying, wow, that's a beautiful girl. And not only is she beautiful, she's smart, she's sharp, she speaks well. You know, and all these things about you actually come across on camera. And I'm sure, I don't know if you know that, but it does.
Thank you.
And I just happen to be a big fan of Ilissa Monet Collins. I have mad respect for her. And you have so many things that you've done in your life prior to becoming actually Miss Spring, Texas, USA. You actually were a dancer. Yeah. Now, what was your inspiration for dance?
You know what? I remember me starting at the age of 3 dancing, and I remember somewhere along the way I was looking at Michael Jackson videos, and I looked at one concert. It was one concert, I don't remember which year it was, but he did, and after that I started getting my white glove, and I started dancing around, and I was just too proud. And I was like, you know what? Whenever I, down the line, I want to learn how to dance like that. I want to be like Michael, just performing, and I want everybody to be wowed by my performance.
Yeah. Wow, that is too funny. And so often we're inspired by icons and the people that we see in the media. And it's good when we can emulate ourselves. Not so much emulate, but look at the positive and then take that from it and create our own story for our own lives. And that's what you're doing. And now, with the dancing thing, I've had the pleasure of actually seeing you dance. And I remember it was the Nutcracker. And I was so excited, and I knew about it months in advance, so I had it on my calendar. I'm like, I can't miss Ilissa in the Nutcracker. And at that time, I think you had just become a part of the company. And I didn't know what that meant for a dancer, but for a dancer to become a part of the company is really huge. Tell me a little bit about that experience.
It was a really amazing experience because when they give you a letter before they, you officially become in the company. And I got the letter, I'm like, did you send this to the wrong person? Is this me? You sure? And so along the way, it was just amazing because it means that you are like one of the top dancers and you are actually right there showcasing the company. You're pretty much what the company sees in a way.
Right.
But along with the other dancers. And
yes.
So it was just an amazing experience.
Now, were you the first African American to be a part of that company at that time? Do you know?
No, I wasn't. There were a couple other black girls before me.
Okay.
But they graduated from high school and they, go into what they want to do in life.
Okay, career-wise.
Career-wise, right.
Got you. And now, speaking of career, we're going to talk about that because I know that you have big plans for your career and for your future, and you actually are a double major. So you're not just tackling one thing, you're tackling two things. And I think that deserves a round of applause. Because that's to see a young person with inspiration and aspirations for betterment in their lives is something that we should all tip our hats to. Yeah. Now, you're interested in hospitality and marketing. Now, I have to ask you, what got you interested in that?
After seeing my mom, I have to give her a big praise because I see how hardworking she was, and I see how, and she taught me so much. And that's pretty much what got me into marketing and hospitality, just going to different events, and with my mom, of course, and just seeing how everybody, interacts with everybody and everybody, how they just put things together. I was like, okay, I want to learn how to do that, and I feel like that's in the hospitality program.
Right,
and my mom can show me how to market myself and how to get my name out there. So what better way to put those two together?
Yeah. Hence the career that's going to be born. Now you're over at is it Lone Star for now? I believe it is, and then of course you're going to transition
right
after that. So what is it like being at home now after graduating from high school and being at home and going to school? What is that life like for you?
It's different because I do have a bit more independence since I am in college, but it's actually a fun experience because I'm like, okay, cool, I'm in college. I get to get the college experience even though I'm at home.
Right.
And that's what people, I guess, is misconcepted because people assume, oh, you're at home, you don't get the college experience. You do.
You do get the college experience, and you're getting the college experience right now.
Oh, yeah.
It's going to propel you into your future, into your destiny.
Oh, yeah.
I'm enjoying this conversation. We can talk all day long.
I know.
Ilissa is such a cool person. I mean, when I tell you she's a cool person, she's a cool person. And it's just a pleasure knowing her. We're going to be back in just a moment with more of the Ferrell Phelps Show and my wonderful guest, Ilissa Monet Collins. You guys stick around.
Sky Trues Custom Eyewear has taken the world by storm. In only 8 months, Sky Trues has gained the eyes of many, including celebs like Big Sean, Little Flip, Destiny's Child, Soulja Boy, just to name a few. Through custom design, Sky Trues can put your imagination on your frames. I bring to you the next big thing in Houston, Sky Trues, created by Golden Boy, the musician, the artist, the entrepreneur, and grassroots marketing genius. Be inspired. Sky Trues, custom designed frames. Sky Trues!
All right, welcome back to the Ferrell Phelps Show, where my guest today is none other than the current Miss Spring, Texas, Ilissa Monet Collins. Ilissa, welcome back.
Thank you.
You know, it is always such a pleasure to speak with you, and we're always going to laugh. We always get a good laugh in, and laughter is so good for the soul. You know, and there are so many things in life to be serious about, so when you get a moment where you can actually laugh, I say laugh. And one of the people that I actually got that from was the late, great Maya Angelou. That was one of the things that she said. She said, laughter is great. If you can laugh as much as you can, because you never know from one moment to the next what could change in your life that might be devastating. So every opportunity I get to laugh, I try my best to laugh. And sometimes it's at the expense of others. Haven't got you yet, but sometimes it's at the expense of others. Now, I want to get back to what we were talking about before we left. We were talking about your double major in marketing and it was marketing and hospitality. So are there any people in that field that you actually have gleamed after or look up to that you'd like to emulate in some way?
Actually, yeah, because there's Hilda.
Mm-hmm.
And so after knowing Hilda and seeing a bit of what she does, I'm like, you know what, this makes me fall in love with it even more.
Yeah.
And then I've also met, Hilda, like some other people too.
Right.
So yeah.
Right. And then as far as the marketing side is concerned,
Mm-hmm.
how does that fit into what you want to do, the marketing part?
You have to get your name out there. You want people to know who you are.
Right.
And so I believe that marketing will help you do that, because that way you can branch out and you can not only get people around your area but around other areas too.
Right.
So yeah, if you learn how to do that, then what else can help your business?
Yeah, other than people talking about it. And we both know that the word of mouth is everything in business. Mm-hmm. Word of mouth is literally everything. I want to ask you, what do you say to a little girl who's sitting at home right now watching this television set, and she's looking at us and she's saying, wow, that's Miss Spring USA. I want to be Miss Spring USA. What would you say to that little girl?
You know what? If you put your mind to something and you really believe you can do it, you can do it. Don't let anything stop you, okay? It's all up to you. Just be proud of who you are and just go after it and work hard, because you will get it.
I like that. Now tell me this, are there any barriers that have taken place in your life that would have kept you from it had you not overcome?
Oh yeah, there is all types of barriers, because I always get no's for whenever I'm getting sponsorshipping. And so, of course, before I used to be like, man, why do people keep saying no? What's wrong? And so, of course, you have to reevaluate, you have to change some things.
Mm-hmm.
And so, after that, it's just like if you get no's and everything, it's like you just gotta learn to move on, just go to something new.
Exactly.
Because you can't let anything hold you back.
That's right. You cannot let anything hold you back. And a lot of times when you're getting those no's, each no that you get gets you that much closer to your yes. So if you don't give up when you hear the no's, you're going to have success. You just have to keep pressing forward and moving on. And obviously you've done that. I know for me, when you and I talked about the pageant, before you even said anything, before you said a word, in my head, I'm like, I'm going to sponsor Ilissa. I have to sponsor Ilissa. I have to sponsor Ilissa, because I don't just sow my seeds into places where I don't think that they will grow. I sow my seeds in places that I see potential. And when I look at you, when I speak with you, and we have this type of dialogue, I know that I'm sowing my seed into a place where there's fertile soil, without any doubt. And I've always had just a great deal of admiration for you, from being the little girl that I would photograph that was a ballerina, to the young lady who made some wonderful brownies and blessed me with them one day, and was so kind to even bring this candy that you made. This girl can cook. Miss Spring, Texas, USA can throw down. So, she's not just a pretty face. But you're just multi-talented in so many ways, and I love it when I see people like yourself that's aspiring to do more things with their life. I also want to ask you too, while we're having this conversation, you being a young person and seeing the way the world is today and the things that are happening in our society, what's some of the things that you might do as a ambassador of goodwill, so to speak, to encourage, or what things might you change?
In the world, one thing that I'm really passionate about is just everybody should have a home. And I see so many homeless people, and for whatever reason that they're homeless, I believe that everybody should just be able to have some place where they can feel like themselves and they can, rest and everything. And I believe that if we had a program, we could show them how to get up on their feet and be financially able to take care of themselves, get all the things that they need, and I could be their cheerleader for them, then why not?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I believe, if you put your mind to something, you can do it.
Yes. You're a very strong believer in that, and that's so important that you're such a strong believer in that, because it's important and that you can do it. I want to ask you too. Now, I know your mom plays a big part in your life, and I know you just love your mama, and I know she's one of your biggest cheerleaders. I'm curious as to how has she influenced your life?
She has influenced my life completely, because I don't know where I would have been without her. She taught me just everything. I wouldn't even be Miss Spring if it wasn't for her.
Mm-hmm.
That's how big it is. And I wouldn't have, my diabetes with everything, she wouldn't have pushed on me and say, no, eat healthy and just be my cheerleader. I don't know. Yeah. So she's just amazing. And I want to thank her every time I can and say I love her, because she is my rock. If I don't have her, then I feel like I have nobody.
Wow. That's very touching. I mean, man, you're making me cry. I ain't supposed to cry. But I think it's great. I think it's great when you have a parent in your corner that supports you, and we all need that type of love and support. And it's just a beautiful thing that you have your mom that can give that to you. Man, this wasn't supposed to happen like this, but it does sometimes. And I'm human, and I'm an emotional human being, and moments like this actually touch me. You guys stick around for more of Miss Spring, Texas. We're going to be back in just a moment. I'm going to gather myself, and we're going to hit it again. So y'all stick around.
Sky Trues custom eyewear has taken the world by storm. In only 8 months, Sky Trues has gained the eyes of many, including celebs like Big Sean, Little Flip, Destiny's Child, Soulja Boy, just to name a few. Through custom design, Sky Trues can put your imagination on your frames. I bring to you the next big thing in Houston, Sky Trues, created by Golden Boy, the musician, the artist, the entrepreneur, and grassroots marketing genius. Be inspired. Sky Trues, custom designed frames. Sky Trues!
All right. Welcome back to this edition of the Ferrell Phelps Show with my wonderful guest, Miss Ilissa Monet Collins. I have had such a time photographing too, as a matter of fact, and now interviewing Ilissa, man, and she really touched me a moment ago, and I usually kind of keep my composure when it comes to things that I, deal with on the show and this, that, and the other, but man, it just really touched me a moment ago. So you guys got to see the human side. It is what it is. But I'm so excited that she's here. Now, we talked about, a moment ago, we were talking about no's and how often we get no's, but the importance of persevering. Now, I know along the journey, you got a lot of no's when you were looking for sponsorship and people to help you to surge forward with the pageant. Let's talk about some of those yeses that you've gotten. So tell me a little bit about some of the people that have sponsored you so far.
I have had, oh my gosh, I've just had a blessing with the yeses because I've got a $1,200 sponsorship. I got someone offered, eFitters actually offered me, they wanted me to do a commercial for them.
Okay.
And then I've gotten a $250 sponsorship. I also got free teeth whitening.
Wow.
So I have, and even a $100 sponsorship to where, and for you, Ferrell, you sponsored me.
Let's not forget me.
Yeah.
No.
You know that you guys have sponsored me, so I've just gotten a lot of yeses out of it. So
And see, I would have thought I would have got a nice applause for that, me being a sponsor, but it's like nobody even applauded Ferrell Phelps.
Not even.
You know what I'm saying? I'm like, I'm not understanding this thing right here, right now. I'm just not getting this thing. Yeah, and you know what? I am what you would call a proud sponsor. You know, because I am truly proud to say I was a sponsor, or that I had an opportunity to partake in the success that I know is coming your way. Now, you're getting ready for something that's really, really huge. I think it's the month of August, and particularly August the 29th, I believe it is. Now, I need to have a time for that day so that I could be there, but I need a time. A time. I know the date, but I need a time. And once I get that time, I want to solidify actually being there to support you as you run for Miss Texas USA.
Yeah, we would definitely have to give you a time, Ferrell.
Yes, yes. Now tell me this, what is it like building up to the momentum of that big day when you've seen all these women that have been Miss Texas in the past? What is that like for you, knowing that you're preparing to compete in Miss Texas?
It's exciting yet nerve-wracking because I'm like, okay, this is it. It's almost here. And then I see all the past Miss Texas. Okay, I gotta be just like that or better. Okay, I'm ready. I'm trying to have my team behind me. They're getting me mentally prepared, and then it comes, and I'm just okay. I'm just so excited.
You can exhale. You know I asked you the other day, I said, when you're going on stage, do you ever get nervous? And I found it interesting that you said not really that nervous because you're used to being on stage all of your life.
Right.
Yeah. And I mean, that's half the battle when you're going on stage and competing in front of tons of people, that you can maintain your composure and not get nervous, but you can just be as cool as a cucumber. And because of your past, it's prepared you for your future. And that's for all of us. And your past, a lot of times, will determine your destiny as well. Now, and you danced for, was it 15 years?
Yes.
15 years of dancing. That is really, I mean, that shows commitment right there in itself, that a person can stick with something for 15 years. Now, I know the dancing was a wonderful thing in your life, but I also know that the dancing actually posed as a challenge for you when you began to compete in pageants because it was different. And you couldn't walk the same as a dancer as you would a pageant contestant. So what has that been like to relearn how to take those steps and walk?
It's been a challenge because when dancing, they want you to turn out, always be turned out. Pageant, no, you need to walk the straight line. You need to stay one foot in front of the other. And dancing, that's totally opposite. And it's a little challenging at first, but it's a fun experience because you get to learn different ways to hold yourself and to pose. So
right.
Yeah.
You know, it was interesting because I had the opportunity to watch your practice tape, your practice video this weekend that your mom was so kind to share with me. And, you know, when I watched that tape, I saw how you started out, and then I saw how you progressively got better with the 1 foot in front of the other. And then you put on that pageant dress. Oh, man. I was like, wow. You know, what does that feel like you? I mean, though you have to feel like a princess rather, when you put on a dress like that. Is it very heavy?
Actually, no, it's not as heavy as you would think it is, but it is a wow moment because that is I just think you did an amazing job picking out the dress, and I just feel like a princess in it.
Oh, wow. And I know the world's going to see that personality when you walk out on stage, when the princess walks out on stage on August the 29th as she competes in the Miss USA Texas USA pageant.
Yes.
They'll be held right here in Houston, Texas, and I certainly plan on being in the house on that day. I want to ask you, is there any information that you would like the world to know if they want to get in touch with you or possible sponsorship, things of that nature?
Yes, please tune in to the Miss Texas pageant, which is going to be August 29th through 31st. And if you want to reach me, you can reach me at my email at ilissams@yahoo.com. That's ILISSAMS@yahoo.com, or through my Facebook, which is ILISSA Collins COLLINS.
All right, you guys have it right there. That's information that you can actually contact this pageant contestant and the current Miss Spring Texas. And for information on this show, you can certainly reach us at Let's Talk About It 12TV at gmail.com. That's Let's Talk About It 12TV at gmail.com. You can also find our previous shows on our Facebook page just by putting in, I think it's Ferrell Phelps, Let's Talk About It. And we're on the YouTube channel. You simply go there, type in the name Ferrell Phelps, and all of our shows will appear right there for your viewing pleasure. Until next time, folks, we'll see you then.